want to tell us a wee bit about yourself, Ewan? I know you're on the council youth cabinet. Is that something you enjoy doing?
Yeah, being a part of the East Ayrshire Children and Young People's Cabinet's great. I've been part of it since last of May, and it's really good to have the chance to kind of express the views of young people. Coming from Kilmarnock as well, it's good to talk about Kilmarnock, because it's obviously all of East Ayrshire. Young people are coming from loads of different East Ayrshire schools, so it's really good. It's really good to chance to be part of that. I also work nationally with Young Scot on the Young Scot Health Panel, working with people from all over Scotland, from Aberdeen, from Edinburgh, all over. That's a really great opportunity. So that's mainly working. I go up to Edinburgh to do that a couple of times every month. We've been having digital meetings during lockdown for that as well. But no, I've also started working. I'm now working on a research project with the University of Huddersfield and the Corries on how lockdown's impacted young people. So that's an exciting new project that I'm working on with them. But yeah, lockdown's been great to do all of that.
Where's your favourite places to go in town?
I like going. I love the town centre. I like going with my friends, especially during the end of the holidays. I think it's the town in general and Kilmarnock in general. It's such a big place as well. Loads of shops, loads of like popular shops. But I think growing up in Kilmarnock has been great because I've been here all my life. I think it's weird because seeing the town centre and see how it's always changing, and so there's a new shop opening and stuff like that. And it's really good to go down and see all that. It's been great for 14 years to grow up and see the good changes that have been happening in the town.
That's really quite positive. A lot of people sometimes, they're always moaning about the empty shops and things like that, but that's what we try and do at Celebrate Kilmarnock. We try and focus on what's right and how we can improve things, because you can just sit all day and moan about things and it's never going to get any better. You really need people to be proactive and I'm not saying shy away from things that are wrong. If things are wrong, then they need to be highlighted. We need to do it collectively, do something about it, and it takes us all working together, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were meeting up friends, if you wanted to go and have like a chat somewhere, where would you go to have, a kind of social interaction rather than going to the shops? Whereabouts in town would you go?
Usually, if we were meeting in Kilmarnock, we'd usually go to somewhere like Costa on the High Street and have a drink there, or what's the one, the internet cafe as well.
Is that iCafe?
iCafe, yeah. But I think it's good because there's a mixture on the high street of local businesses and more the high street chains. So I think there's a real wide variety of choice, and I think no two meeting up with friends is the same because it's always a different place.
Yeah. Is there any particular? I mean, you mentioned the Dean Castle, Dean Park. Is there any buildings in town that you think, oh, that's a really lovely building and it's quite significant in the town?
I think my brain's gone. I think there's a lot of those kind of places. I think really iconic buildings as well, like the old Kilmarnock Academy, and also the new Kilmarnock Academy, because I think that's kind of showing the modern infrastructure we have in Kilmarnock is just really nice building. But I think we've got also loads of other, the Dean Castle is really iconic in Scotland, and in Kilmarnock, so I think that's a really nice kind of building. But I think we've got loads of different, because no building's the same. I think in Kilmarnock it's all really different, and some are more modern and some have more kind of history behind them, but I think they're all just really interesting to learn about. I think like we learned about sometimes in school.
You're right, that's a really good point. We've got some lovely old heritage buildings, but we've got some really lovely new modern structures. I mean, the Ayrshire College as well. I mean, I think that's really been a lovely building, and the way they've constructed it, they've done all the sustainability inside with the air conditioning units and the heating system. So it's quite nice to see the contrast as well.
Yeah, definitely.
What about the natural environment? Sorry, that's my dog. I knew he was going to get in on things. What about the natural environment? What do you think is good about Kilmarnock from that aspect?
I think there's a lot of, like, especially the places like the Dean Park and things like that in Kilmarnock, they're really, really nice to go with friends, to go with family as well, to go a walk or things like that. Because we've actually been saying now that lockdown's kind of moving into phase one, we're wanting to go more walks there. But I think there's loads of different options to go as well. And round the back of my school as well, there's lots of different kind of green areas we can go for walks and things like that. I would do at my lunchtime at school, just go walk around the back of the school with some friends.
We'll get some lovely parks and walks round about the town, haven't we? And I think that's one of the things during lockdown people started to appreciate more what's actually here. So that's one of the good things I think that's coming out of it. So if someone from, if you had a friend from another country that wanted to know about Kilmarnock and they asked you about famous people, what sort of famous people do you associate with the town? Or somebody that you think has brought a talent or a skill to the town?
I think I'm gonna have to check what the specific name, but a lot of them, I think there's 2 Nobel Prize winners have come from Kilmarnock Academy itself, which I think is really special. Especially myself going to that school, I feel like that's a real kind of point to look at, that people who have come before in that school have achieved, so you can also achieve, and I think that's really important. But I think also the kind of, also obviously they would have done, they discovered like things as well to help humanity, and I think that's such an important standpoint.
Yeah, Alexander Fleming's one of them, and obviously he made the discovery of penicillin, so that, just what you're saying, worldwide, the impact that's had and the benefit to humankind has been just phenomenal, hasn't it? Right, yeah.
And of course, John Boyd Orr as well, who's the first Director General of the FAO for the United Nations. I think it's these kind of achievements that people in our school aspire to do. Like, I want to be First Minister, and I think that now, seeing the achievements of those past and seeing that people in Scotland are doing that work from school age, I think it's inspired me that I know I can go forward and aspire to that, and it's not a huge problem to aspire to that kind of level.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have some really positive role models that came from your own locality, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's a lockdown interview, Ewan, what I've been asking people at the end is, have they been learning any new skills, or have they got any tips for people how to deal with some of the restrictions? So have you been learning to play the guitar or learning the language or anything like that?
I've been doing a lot less. Obviously, schoolwork's been cut down, so I think I've done a lot more kind of outdoor exercise than I would have previously. I've been keeping a lot more sane. I've had this thing where before lockdown I was working very hard on loads of different projects, and I think that now that's been toned down. I've relaxed more, and I've had more time to just kind of de-stress, because before lockdown there was a lot of work. I was going to election camps, I was going up to Edinburgh twice a month to go and talk with Young Scot, and I think a lot of that kind of been toned down now, and I'm really excited when all that starts back up. But I think some of the top tips I did this to Young Scot, and I think some of them were not looking at the news as much, because I've done that quite a lot, kind of watching the news quite a lot, and I think toning down on that and having more positive news stories and things like that, and reading more about into those rather than coronavirus updates every 10 minutes, because I feel that's quite a lot on the news. But I feel like also talking to your family about things if you're not feeling quite right, because everyone's kind of having that kind of time where we're going through where it's not quite the greatest scenario to be in. I haven't seen my friends in 2 months, and that's had a huge impact on me. I'm really missing my friends, and I think there's been a big thing in the news and the coronavirus. It's not really affecting young people as much, but it definitely is. Just not in the ways that people perceive it as affecting people. Because yes, we are probably less likely to be susceptible to the actual virus itself, but we are not as less susceptible to the impact of the virus that it's having, because we're also going to have to pick this up with the economy and things like that. When we are the adults and we are kind of in charge of the economy and things like that. I think it is really affecting us, and it's affecting my friends as well, because we don't know. We've just been told that we don't know yet if our exams will be on. I'm a new National 5 people have just went into S4. So I may not be sitting my National 5 exams next year. We don't know. We're on that kind of questionable time right now.
Yeah, there's been a lot of uncertainty for lots of people, you know, about what's going to happen with the economy and how it's going to impact on their lives, and especially young people maybe about the future world of work. Although things like this, I think people using technology like this that they never used before. So I think we might need to think about how we work and how we interact slightly different than we did before. And I think you're right. In the beginning, you were so busy with things, you just get caught up in everything. And I think the lockdowns forced you to maybe take a step back and slow down. And sometimes I found that's anyway, the pace of change has been really good for my mental well-being, I think. And I think, well, Elaine, you were getting distracted by a lot of things that maybe weren't as important now that you've had a chance to reevaluate. So I think we need to, when we come out of it, think about the good things and hold on to them, and also that there will be some big challenges. But I think we've realised the value of our connections to each other and that social interaction, and that's what's going to get us through those challenges. Yeah. Okay, right, this one's maybe going to take a wee bit more thought. Last question. If I gave you a magic wand and you could change one thing in the town centre, what would it be?
That is going to take a lot of thought.
I knew that was good.
Maybe having more, I don't know, because obviously currently the B&M space is kind of empty. So I think making that a place where young people can go, specifically for young people, which I think is, or having somewhere in the town where young people can go and it can be kind of a young people communal area, because I think that would be really beneficial, that young people could just go in and sit down, and it's that kind of have a conversation and a place where young people can meet up. Because I think we've got that right now with loads of different shops. I think if we had one for young people specifically where they could go and they could sit and they could, and it could be a communal space where they meet and then go somewhere else within the town. Kind of a meeting spot, I think, would be quite nice for that.
Like a meeting place, more or less. Yep. Somewhere that was nice environment, and it was safe, and people felt a pleasant place to go in and spend some time. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, thanks for your time this morning, Ewan. I really appreciate it. It's been lovely speaking to you, and hopefully we'll see you soon down at the Celebrate office in King Street, and we can have a proper face-to-face chat with everyone.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you enjoy the rest of your day.
Take care, thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.